All right, so today we're doing our deep dive into Revelation chapter 21.
Hmm.
And this chapter, it kicks off with a truly massive vision. We're talking a complete cosmic reset.
Yeah, right off the bat, you get this huge declaration, a new heaven and a new earth. The first one's gone.
Literally gone.
It's not just, a renovation, it's a total replacement. And there's this one detail, sometimes people kind of skim over it, but it feels important. There was no longer any sea.
That no sea part, yeah, that's really striking, isn't it? Because we often think of the sea, as beautiful, vast.
Sure, the ocean.
But historically, biblically, the sea often represented chaos, didn't it? The unknown, danger, separation even.
Definitely. Think about Jonah or the storm on Galilee. The sea is often this turbulent force, a barrier.
So for the text to just state, flat out, no more sea.
Yeah.
What's that telling us about this new creation? What's the feeling there?
Well, it strongly suggests perfect peace, perfect order, no more chaos. It's like the unpredictable, the potentially threatening parts of the old world. They're just not there anymore. It points to, I think, ultimate security, harmony.
Okay, so you've got this perfectly ordered new cosmos, and then something else appears, something incredible. The holy city, the New Jerusalem.
Right. And notice how it appears, coming down out of heaven from God.
Yeah, and it's pictured like a bride, prepared, beautifully dressed for her husband. That image, a city as a bride, that's fascinating.
It really is. It links the city, which is, God's place with humanity. It links it
Yeah.
to that deep covenant relationship, often shown as a marriage in Scripture. It's
Yeah.
pure, ready, meant for intimacy.
And the whole point of this, the reason for this new city, it's spelled out right away by this powerful voice from the throne. This is the absolute core of it, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, the dwelling of God is with men, and he will live with them. They'll be his people, God himself with them, being their God. I mean, that's the ultimate promise fulfilled, God physically present.
Yes, exactly. You can trace that longing all the way back from Eden onward, this restored, permanent closeness. And the results of God dwelling there, they're profound. The text lists this undoing of all human suffering.
He will wipe every tear from their eyes, every single one. There will be no more death,
No more death.
or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order of things has passed away, just gone.
It's the complete reversal of, everything that went wrong, the consequences of the fall, just wiped clean.
And the voice from the throne really hammers home the certainty. I am making everything new. And then the command, write this down. Why? Because these words are trustworthy and true.
Yeah, it's not presented as like a nice hope or a possibility. It's stated as fact, a guaranteed future.
The finality of it is then underlined again. It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. It's like the divine signature on this whole new reality.
And tied right into that is a specific promise for those who are seeking it. To him who is thirsty, I will give to drink without cost from the spring of the water of life.
Water of life, without cost.
It connects that new creation life to a spiritual reality, something freely given to those who, genuinely thirst for it.
So, okay, this incredible future, who actually gets to be part of it? The text is very specific here. He who overcomes will inherit all this.
Yeah.
Inheritance tied to overcoming.
Yes, there's a condition. But then right after that promise comes this really stark contrast. It lists who is not part of this, who is excluded.
Put a list.
It is. It names the cowardly, the unbelieving, the vile, the murderers, the sexually immoral, those who practice magic arts, the idolaters, and all liars.
And their fate.
Their place, it says, is in the fiery lake of burning sulfur, which the text calls the second death. It draws a very clear, very sharp line. Those who inherit and those who face this ultimate separation. It's presented as a very severe judgment, no ambiguity.
It's definitely a powerful contrast right next to the promise of God dwelling with people and wiping away tears. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. From that big cosmic picture and the destinies involved, the chapter then takes us on like a guided tour of the holy city itself.
Right. One of the angels, remember the 7 angels with the 7 bowls? One of them comes over and says, "Come, I will show you the bride, the wife of the Lamb," using that same bridal imagery.
Wow. Yeah, good connection.
So the focus zooms right in from the cosmic scale down to the specific details of this city. The narrator says he's carried away in the spirit to a mountain great and high.
To get the best view, presumably.
Exactly, a panoramic perspective of this incredible city coming down.
And the first impression, it's just stunning, right? The city shone with the glory of God. It's brilliant. It's compared to A very precious jewel like a jasper, clear as crystal.
So it's not just lit by God's glory later on. Its very substance, its appearance, is that divine radiance, right from the start.
Wow. Okay, then we get into the structure. It's got a great high wall. Right.
Security definition.
With 12 gates and 3 gates on each side, east, north, south, west. Very symmetrical.
Perfectly ordered. And at the gates, 12 angels. And written on the actual gates, the names of the 12 tribes of Israel.
So the entry points are guarded, marked by the names of God's historical people, Israel. That feels really significant.
It does. And then, reinforcing that connection, the wall itself rests on 12 foundations.
And what's on the foundations?
On them are written the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb.
Oh, okay, so you have the tribes of Israel on the gates, the apostles of Christ on the foundations. It's like the whole history of God's people, Old and New Testament, built right into the city's structure.
Exactly. It shows both the roots in Israel and the foundation established by Jesus' apostles are fundamental. They're integral.
Then the text gets super precise. The angel actually measures the city.
Yeah, with a measuring rod of gold, which itself sounds amazing. He measures the city, the gates, the walls, quantifying this divine reality.
And the numbers are just staggering. The city is a perfect square, laid out like a square, length equal to its width.
Okay, how big?
It measured 12,000 stadia in length. And it's just as wide and just as high.
Wait, high, as in a cube.
Exactly, a perfect cube. Now, 12,000 stadia, for listeners trying to get a sense of scale, that's roughly, what, 1,400 miles?
Yeah.
Maybe a bit more.
Around that, yeah. So imagine a cube stretching 1,400 miles long, 1,400 miles wide, and 1,400 miles high.
The scale is just, it breaks your brain a little.
It's meant to be overwhelming, I think. And even the wall's thickness is measured, 144 cubits thick. And it adds, interestingly, that this is using man's measurement, which the angel was using.
144. That's 12 times 12, isn't it?
It is, just like 12,000 is a multiple of 12. That number symbolism, connecting back to the tribes and apostles, it runs all through it. The symmetry, the scale, the numbers, it all speaks of divine perfection, order, completeness.
Okay, and the materials. What's this amazing city made of?
Prepare yourself. The wall is made of jasper. Remember the stone its brilliance was compared to.
All right, clear as crystal.
And the city itself, pure gold, as pure as glass.
Gold, like glass, transparent gold.
Exactly, try to picture that. Gold, the most precious metal, but clear, transparent, like the purest glass. It's taking concepts of value and purity and stretching them beyond anything we know.
It really is language straining to describe something utterly new, something beyond our current reality.
Completely. And then the foundations get even more detailed. They were decorated with every kind of precious stone.
And it lists them all 12.
It does. It goes through them. First jasper, second sapphire, third chalcedony, fourth emerald.
5th sardonyx, 6th carnelian, 7th chrysolite. Keep going.
8th beryl, 9th topaz, 10th chrysoprase, 11th jacinth, and the 12th amethyst. The whole list. What do you think that signifies? Listing every single distinct, vibrant gem like that.
I mean, it screams incredible beauty, unimaginable value, maybe diversity too, each one unique, but together forming this single glorious foundation. It's breathtaking.
It is. And then the gates, we mentioned 12 gates. The 12 gates were 12 pearls, each gate made of a single pearl.
Hold on. Each gate is one pearl.
One single pearl, big enough to be a city gate.
Wow. Just try to imagine the scale of that pearl and the beauty. It speaks to the preciousness of entering, maybe.
Yeah.
The value placed on access.
Could be an image of impossible scale and beauty, and then the main street, the great street of the city.
Let me guess. More gold.
You got it. Pure gold, like transparent glass. Same theme, carrying that radiant purity and beauty right through the heart of the city.
So all these incredible physical details.
Yeah.
They paint this picture of, well, ultimate perfection, ultimate value. But then the focus shifts,
Yeah.
right? It starts highlighting what is not there.
Yes, and the reasons why things are absent are just as important as the descriptions of what is there. And the big one, perhaps the most surprising, is I did not see a temple in the city.
No temple in the holy city. That seems counterintuitive.
It does, until you read the reason. It completely reframes worship and how we relate to God, because the Lord God Almighty and the Lamb are its temple.
So God's presence isn't contained in a specific place within the city.
Exactly. He is the place. His presence and the Lamb's presence is the sanctuary. Access is direct, total, unmediated by a building.
That's huge. Okay, what else is missing?
Similarly, no need for the sun or the moon.
Right. our natural light sources.
The city does not need the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and the Lamb is its lamp.
So the light source is purely divine. God's own glory illuminates everything. The Lamb is the lamp.
Perpetual day, essentially. Bathed in divine light, not created light.
Okay, so we know what's not there. What does happen inside or in relation to this city?
Well, it says, the nations will walk by its light, suggesting its influence extends outwards, and the kings of the earth will bring their splendor into it.
So the best of human culture, the richness, the good things from the nations, they're brought into the city, not excluded.
Seems that way. It's brought in, perhaps consecrated or perfected within the city's light. And another striking detail. On no day will its gates ever be shut,
Never shut.
for there will be no night there. Constant openness, no threat, no need for security, just complete peace and safety. And again, the glory and honor of the nations will be brought into it.
Then finally it circles back one more time to who belongs there,
Yeah.
reinforcing that idea of purity.
Yes, reiterating the conditions for entry based on character and ultimately redemption. Nothing impure will ever enter it, nor will anyone who does what is shameful or deceitful.
But who does get in?
Only those whose names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life. It ties belonging directly back to that divine record, reinforcing the contrast we talked about earlier. Entry isn't automatic, it's specific.
So you really see this flow, don't you? From the huge cosmic picture, new heaven, new earth, God dwelling, down to these incredibly specific, almost overwhelming physical details of the city.
Its size, the gold, the gems, the light.
And then back again to the nature of life inside, defined by God's presence, His light, that constant openness, and the absolute purity required of those who live there.
Exactly. It moves from the macro to the micro and back, weaving together this picture of a future that's both deeply spiritual, God is the temple, God is the light, and yet described in such concrete, tangible ways.
So just to recap where we've journeyed in chapter 21, we saw that initial vision of the new creation, the incredible promise of God living with humanity, the end of all sorrow and pain, that stark contrast in destinies, and then that breathtaking detailed tour of the New Jerusalem, its measurements, materials, light, and who gets to call it home.
Yeah, it's a really dense chapter, packed with imagery of ultimate hope and finality.
It really is. And maybe here's something for you, the listener, to think about after this deep dive. Really consider that tension, that contrast we touched on. You have these incredibly physical, tangible descriptions of the city. Specific gems listed, gold-like glass, gates made of single pearls, precise measurements in stadia and cubits. Really concrete stuff.
Very material.
But then its light source is totally spiritual, the glory of God. And its temple, its sacred center, is also purely spiritual to God and the Lamb themselves. So what do you make of that blend, this mix of the intensely physical and the purely spiritual? What might that suggest about the nature of the ultimate reality being described here? What does it mean that something so divine, so spiritual, is pictured using such solid material terms, something to ponder